Okay.
Your intro.
Well, I don't know if it's streaming yet.
Well, it probably is. This is a bit of a
Yeah, but I'm not
bombastic
seeing
intro.
anything on the
Yeah,
little. Can you
I
see
mean,
it?
it's live. It's live, but it's completely black.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know why.
Ah,
This is a very professional start as
you
you.
bollocks your screen capture off.
Yes, I did. Fine. Okay, how do I?
Technical issues.
Is it
Back in a minute.
working now?
You'll have to give it a moment to catch up.
There you are.
Ah, yep.
Ah,
Yes, now
I
it's
just
working.
had to turn studio mode off, apparently.
There you go.
Okay, ideal.
Something like live debugging.
Yes,
Yes.
a bit of.
Hello, everyone.
Here we are.
And welcome to PATHCO, or, well, more specifically, welcome to the PATHCO zone, which is, I think, the way that we're calling the behind the scenes. I don't know if that's an official thing.
We might have been calling it the PATHCO Zone because
yes,
that it's a riff on the Adventure
because
Zones.
yes,
Behind the scenes.
because of copyright issues, it's called the PATHCO Zone. Okay.
That's what the Adventure Zones behind the scenes was called. They are literally called the Adventure Zone.
Right, of course, I see.
The Adventure Zone.
Oh, yes, that's the one.
Yes. Okay. Yes, the Adventure Zone.
Yes, that's the one.
Ah, that's so good.
So we are the PATHCO Zone. That's the...
Yeah, I think
So
that
we
we
are.
are just
Here
the
we are
PATHCO
in the
zone.
PATHCO Zone,
Yes, here we are in the PATHCO
and
zone.
it's bright.
Yes.
There's no one to fight. It's been in my head all day.
Yeah.
Man, we killed some demons, eh?
Yeah,
Yes.
you did.
We sure did.
You sure did.
Sure did.
Others.
Yeah.
It's the natural stage of escalation. First you kill half a demon, you kill 3 demons.
Yes.
Oh, we only killed 2?
Of course.
We only
That's
killed 2
true,
demons.
actually. You did only kill 2.
Made friends with the other one, and then we pacified the demon demigod. Yes, lady. She
Storia.
was very nice in the end.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
all right,
I like Sigmund went from being real pissed with her to being real pissed on her behalf in like record speed.
All right.
I kind of hijacked that whole session a bit.
Well,
Me too. I'm sorry.
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine. Okay.
Yes. That's just what were we talking about again?
Sartoria and how like Dave was the clear kind of face person for that.
Well, yeah,
encounter.
I mean,
And Sigmund had that kind of, because he was leaning into the fact he was from Midland and knew a bit about it. There was a bit of focus on that, but it wasn't fully like.
well, yeah.
I think as a DM, you made space for the other players as well.
yeah,
They did the teacup stuff. Like Thyra, that was on her.
yeah. And I think that
Thyra's
it's
future tea.
yeah, Thyra's future tea.
Going to shops near you.
Indeed, and I think that in sort of the previous parts of the module, like sure thing in like the last session, maybe it was like mostly focused on Dave and Sigmund, but I think over the course of the module, there's been plenty of time for everyone to sort of do their part. I think so. I don't think that
Like
that's
the
an issue.
the dwarf show was when they were breaking into the vault.
Yeah, that is true.
and
That
breaking
is
out of the
true.
vault again.
Mm-hmm. Very much true.
It all worked out in the end.
It all worked out in the end.
No one got arrested. No one got banned.
Yes.
Now there's democracy.
Yes, now there's democracy, which may or may not be won in the future by Tim the Rat President.
He's got my vote.
Yeah.
You don't have a vote though.
So let's get started. First of all, with
Okay, hang on. Hi.
Hey.
So it's, there was that Obama poster that was
Yeah.
like yes
The red,
or
red,
hope.
blue, yeah.
It was hope.
Yeah.
What if it's one of Tim the Rat King on like a minimal
says
color
rats.
palette, but it just says rats instead. Yeah,
I think that's really good. I think that's,
You're welcome.
I think that's
Is
very
General
good.
Whiskers his campaign manager? Is the question.
Rats we can.
Yeah.
Oh dear, not that. No, no.
Yes.
Actually, if
Yes,
a rat
we
is
rats.
too dumb to know that it can't be a monk, it can also be too dumb to know that it can't be a campaign manager.
Maybe
good
it's
point.
maybe it's his vice president.
Yeah,
Vice
Rat
President
running, mate.
Whiskers.
Yes.
it's rats to the White House. That's what
He's
it
the
is.
most powerful monk I've ever known, Sigmund von Beck.
Jeez.
That's how
he's not-
B finds out he's still alive from a election picture.
It's actually the thing is that if you take it like mechanics wise, that's actually untrue because General Whiskers is not as high level as Glanvar. So Glanvar is definitely a more powerful monk.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
But
we've seen the evidence
to
otherwise.
over and over again, though, isn't it?
I suppose.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. So anyhow, in terms of behind the scenes stuff, I think mainly what I'm going to be showing is like some of the map things. If you open up the stream, we're currently looking at the... Well, actually, no. I have something that actually comes before the Welgenrath stuff, namely that at the start of the module we had like a little encounter with some of the people that you have wronged in the past, or more specifically that
yes.
Thyra has wronged in the past, namely Quick and Blind Abdul, who showed up. So that was a thing, mainly on my part, just to sort of bring those characters back for a spin.
That's valid, man.
Yeah, because I thought that would be very nice. It was also a good excuse to draw them again for a handout. Originally...
that was how you first implemented
that's
Sigmund's brain buddies as well, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed, because that's when Sigmund got shunted into the ethereal plane. Basically, I ran into the spell Ethereal Shunt, which like temporarily puts something in the ethereal plane, and I thought, considering that these guys know the enemy, I think that Blind Abdul would have enough brains to prep for a fighter who will probably try to engage him in melee combat immediately. Yeah, so that was that. Encountering the Duke of Cups and the Duchess of Liquor Cream was actually total improv. That was not planned at all.
Was it planned for them to be there at all, or did you make them up in that moment?
I made them up in that moment.
Hey.
Yeah, I did.
That ended up becoming like such a part of one of the
I know.
B-plots.
But I hadn't thought of that, and I thought it would be nice to have like something to fill the ethereal plane a bit. In that moment,
Explains why there was
I'll
never
make
any
them up.
handouts for them. I thought that was strange.
Yeah, mainly because I just didn't have time to draw them.
No, that's fair, but like
Yeah,
with
it's-
the things that you planned, you had them in advance that you drew like months before.
Yeah,
but,
indeed.
like, that explains.
Actually, one of the oldest drawings is 2 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, not 2 years before the start of the module, but still. I did make a lot of stuff months in advance.
Yes, I remember you talking about it.
Yeah. But yeah, basically that was improv, and then it just sort of became a thing. Originally, it was actually not going to be Blind Abdul and Quick. It was going to be Quick and Sissert, who you might remember as the alchemist,
Yes.
who died allegedly
Yeah.
because he sort of used like that mutagen on
hulked
himself
out.
and hulked out, and then he died in like the
not
fire
French.
of the building, allegedly.
Maybe?
However, yeah, at least that's what I remember. I don't know. Maybe you lopped his head off. That's also possible. But hey, we're in a fantasy world. Not like
Yeah.
lopping your head off is going to stop you from being
Oh, is that what that
necromantically
drawing is?
reanimated. Yes, and that's in fact what we're looking at right now on the stream. And I'll send that JPEG to the thing as well, to Discord, so that you can look at it a bit more clearly. That indeed, normally, he would have also returned in sort of like stuck in his hulked out form, which would have been like a fun reunion for von Montbec. So that would have been sort of the thing that you had Quick, who is sort of Thyra's nemesis, or at least she believes herself to be that. And then you'd have Sissert, who has been sort of, well, killed by the entire party and is also like Montbec's former colleague.
What made you change your mind?
Yeah, I'm actually wondering why I changed my mind in the end.
Like, man, this was a dope design. Why didn't I use this?
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Blind Duel's cool too.
Yeah, Blind Duel was cool. I think
Even
it
if
was.
like,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
carry on. I was just gonna say that my favorite thing about Blind Abdul, like, the thing that I remember the most is when he crit failed on a concentration check, and I'll fight against him, and he cast Major Armor on me instead of himself.
Oh yeah, that's very possible.
And also the bats. That was
Also
the first
the
time
bats
I cast
just
them.
destroying Blind Abdul.
Rip, man.
Yeah. In the time since I made that character also, I have actually learned that Abdul is not actually an Arabic name. Where is...
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's actually what's it again?
Is it like Hindu or something?
No, it's not the it is based on Arabic, but it's bastardized because the actual first name is Abd.
Ah.
And the owl,
Okay. Interesting to
the
know.
owl, or the owl that makes the second part of Abdul is actually the first part of a surname.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, that's apparently a thing, and it's a common misconception apparently. One which I fell for, but never again. So yeah, here we have them. I've put them up on the stream now for a bit. So there they are. I think what might change my mind in the end is that it made more sense to have Quick and Blind Abdul there.
For them to be traveling together.
Yeah, indeed. I think that was probably why. So yeah, that's that. Skipping forward a bit to Welgenrath. I don't know how much I have to say about that exactly. Because it's mainly like just map stuff. Like you could have gone to other places, but you went where you went, and that's that. What you could have also done is, or what maybe is interesting, is that if you look at the Welgenrath map, you have a location on sort of the pillars in the middle of the crevasse that's called Karya Vengst's Rampart, and that's a bit of Dim North lore, or at least the lore that I have sort of pinned down for it, is that the Queen of the Dim North has like 4 royal champions, and Karya Vengst is one of them. And they sort of have their homes in the 4 biggest cities of the Dim North. So that's a little bit of trivia. Other than that, I don't think I have much to say about Welgenrath in terms of behind-the-scenes stuff. And then, of course, we go to Blackwater itself. What might be very interesting is that originally the plan was to have the whole thing of like demons secretly running the city. Originally, that was planned to be a drow thing, actually. Because I was looking at some drow stuff, and you have like one particular house Parastric or something in Pathfinder canon, because all of the drow houses worship a particular demon lord.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, at least to Pathfinder canon, according to Pathfinder canon, at least, which I think personally is silly, but we've been over this. We've been over this too many times. Yep. But yeah, originally it was going to be a drow thing, and originally Saint Satoria was going to be the princess of House Parastric, cast out because she sort of became compassionate towards humans and towards surface life, which of course is taboo in Drow society, at least in the Drows in the Underdark. That is, the sort of more loony ones than the ones that sort of have learned to live on the surface. Acthio, if you are talking, I can't hear you. Is that normal?
I'm not talking. No, sorry.
Oh, okay. No, I just saw your thingy light up, so I thought we might
I think
be
it was just
missing
picking
something.
up some very small movement from my chair.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. But yeah, originally it was going to be a Drow thing. Originally, Saint Story would have been a Drow, but then I saw the opportunity for it to be connected to Midland, because I noticed sort of the gap in the lore that we had there, where there used to be a king, but then at some point suddenly there was no king anymore, and I thought, well, there must have been some reasoning behind that, and that's sort of how we got to where we got eventually. But yeah, so originally it was going to be a Drow thing. There would have been like Drow cultists and stuff mainly, instead of 3 main demons. So it would have been like that. Originally there was going to be also, instead of 3 main demons, there was going to be like a lot of smaller demons, because you have this particular kind of demon called a Vermlek, which is sort of this like weird worm thing that like wears sort of wears a person, and sort of takes their place, sort of like very Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing.
Replicants.
Yeah. And that was originally where that idea came from. But I ended up deciding against it in the end, because I thought it was nice to have like 3 main, sort of more worked out demons. Okay, so yeah, there's that. Then we have the two biggest maps of this module. The sewer map, which had like big parts that were never actually explored in the module because it's just so goddamn big. Yeah, indeed.
I got an answer. Oh, sorry.
No, you can definitely ask questions and stuff. That's what the behind the scenes is for, of course.
I just remembered that when we were in the sewers, we didn't fight it, I think, because we all passed like stealth checks or something. But like, there was some giant monster-looking thing
yeah.
in the plunge pools, and we never really found out what that was.
No, you didn't. You could have, but you didn't. Yeah, there was a big sewer monster, sort of a giant, sort of mega crocodilian creature. Let me actually get its picture. I have it here.
Yeah, we only saw it for a second before it disappeared again.
Upcoming module, monster tokens. Where is it? Ah, here it is. I'll put it in the chat as well. PATHCO. Upcoming monster tokens. Sewers. There we go. Yeah. So that was that. It was mainly there to just, have a big old sewer monster. It was actually planned to be, if you ever encountered it, to actually be sentient and sapient. And it would have had like sort of telepathic communication. So if you had pursued it and done like more stuff in the sewers, then you could have befriended it, and then it could have like moved through the sewers and like done you a favor and stuff like that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. It was also there because originally I had planned for a bigger fight between you guys and the Resistance, and on the other side, the city guard, to take place in the sewers, which was also one of the reasons why that map was so big, to have like a big fight in the sewers, and then that big old beastie could have come into play as well. But
friends with Tim.
Yes, indeed.
Never told us. That's fine.
Yeah. So there was that. What was another thing that would have been in the sewers but actually never made it in is a whole thing with a vampire. Originally, I had planned for the sewers, or at least a part of the sewers, to be the territory of a vampire, and have
Really, the whole gang war going on down there.
yeah.
They're very lively considering they're sewers.
Yeah, I mean, they are sewers, so they're sort of where all of the weird sort of creature stuff accumulates.
Not that lively. Vampires are dead, aren't they?
That's true. Very true. So, where is she? Yeah, here we are. So basically that would have been like a mini boss fight against a vampire with like consecutive transformations.
Ew.
Yeah. So that could have been a thing. I had like some like blood ghouls as well. Who
We
I might...
just never wandered into her turf.
Well, no, she actually never made it into the final design.
She got cut.
Yeah, she got cut. Because
Never made it out of beta.
Yeah, she never made it out of beta. I don't remember why exactly. I think because I wanted to keep like a holistic... Basically, I had too much sewer stuff. And
That was quite a lot of sewer stuff.
there was a lot of sewer stuff, and I wanted to give it like a holistic feel, and I felt like if there were two distinct themes, like the mainly sewer theme, like weird worm and insect stuff, your basic slimes, your sludges, and then also a whole like vampire theme, I felt like that would have been like a bit too much content and a bit of a distraction from the main situation, so that's why it didn't make it in the end. But it exists, and who knows, I might use it for a B team or something at some point.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Let's see what else I've got. Oh yeah. And then there was not only the sewers map, but there was also the big ruins of the old city. And that's this thing, which is like a whole fucking maze. And when I made this,
We met Pate, etc.
yes, indeed. The fight that went on down there was actually also planned to be larger, against more different kinds of like smaller demons, with like the cambions and stuff. There being like more types of cambions, and that kind of thing. But that got cut for time, and also because the fights that you did have already took long enough, and I felt like if I did all of the fights that I had planned there, it would take up like too much time down there in that thing. So that didn't make it in. I had... Let's see what I have in terms of like demons, because I had quite a few. Here we go. I'll just show it like this, and you can look at it in the stream. The cambions. In terms of the cambions, that was actually a very fun thing to do, because I was planning to use the cambions as sort of the like bread and butter of the demonic army, when there was still a plan for like a
Red shirts.
demonic army, rather than just the main sort of demons. I actually made different cambions, each allocated to one of the abilities, one of the basic ability scores. So you had strength cambions, dex cambions, con cambions, etc. The one that constantly ran away, the one with the antenna and stuff, was actually a wisdom cambion. Which is why it had like sound and perception related stuff, and also some sonic abilities.
It knew to go get help.
Yeah, indeed. So there's that. Oh yeah, originally the plague doctors in the plague district were also going to be demons, sort of disguised in their plague doctor getup. But when I moved away from like a demonic sort of army to a more focused approach, that sort of also got cut out. You've got your Dredge classic, the lava. Those did make it in.
Yeah.
The
maggots, so funny.
Yeah, the maggots. They're just chilling.
Horrifying, but they didn't really do
horrifying.
anything. and that was
We have the
funny.
proto-matters, the sort of like stuff that generated more demons.
Like the Cancery Master.
Yeah,
Fallout
those ones.
things.
There were Skitterdarks, which I believe were also in the thing.
That
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah, like
yeah.
little flying buggers. So you had those. They had the Vermlex. Those were like the sort of like tapeworm things that ended up not making it in, but like those could have been in there as well. So that's that. Oh yeah, and here's some art for the like the drow cultists that would have been relevant if there were actually drow in
Cultists.
the game.
Ah,
Yes. I think I also moved away from that because I thought like, well, I mean, it's not exactly world changing, is it? Drow cultists. So
well, it's we well changing for PATHCO because we don't know anything about the
yeah,
Underdark.
that's true actually. That's true. But I
I
think
was-
We
that
met any drow yet?
I
We've
think
met one.
yeah,
Called Polly and Arm. Or
yeah,
Polly stole it from him.
we
Actually, I
met
think.
that one, and I think you also met one in B team, but don't
Yes, we
quote me
got
on
that.
it.
She's dead.
Yeah. And what was going to be a thing is that like Underdark drow can't actually properly survive on the surface because they are physiologically so different. So that's at least what I had planned, and then that's why I made this extra token of them having like sort of like this demonic sort of biomechanical like spacesuit almost
Oh, I know what that was.
for like surviving on the surface. So it would have been like a funny thing of like, oh, they're cultists, and then they take it off. Oh no, they're demons. And then you take that off. Oh no, they're actually drow. So there's that. Let's see, where are we at then? What else do I have to show? Yeah, so I think then we are gonna get a bit. No, actually, I have some other stuff to show before we go like a few versions further in time to
Okay.
like when the three demons were established and stuff and that kind of thing. I have a bunch of NPCs that were actually also going to be, or that at least I had on standby in case of if you guys went to different places than you did. Let's see, I have... let's see which ones are the important one. Oh yeah, I'll show this one first of all. The one that I had planned, that was going to be the guy that runs the like the casino, I think. At least I remember having like a big casino thing, which was an alternate place where you could encounter Migalas instead of like the art exhibition or on his way back. There could have also been a thing where he was at the casino, and then there would have been like a cool casino scene. So that also was a possibility for finding him. I have some
The
engineer.
idea of the party's a bunch of high rollers.
True. Then I also have some engineer tokens and some dwarves, like this guy. And
Wait for the stream to catch up.
yeah. And basically, those guys would have been more relevant if you guys had spent more time in the industrial quarter, where there's a bunch of dwarves, sort of like a dwarven community that is also living there, helping with the construction and stuff. And if you guys, because in the end, you guys didn't actually go to the big airship.
I really did in the end.
That was quite funny. But yeah, the airship was a thing that basically added some urgency to the whole thing, because when it would have been finished, like the invasion would have started. It also gave me the option of them like speeding up and completing it early to add some stakes, and to have Barthas's fight instead of in the cathedral, have it on the airship instead.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was thinking, when we were going to go kill the Pope, and we actually didn't in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just as well. I feel like if we had, then that might have soiled our relationship with Satori a bit too much.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was thinking, we'll go kill him in the church, we'll escape, we'll go back, we'll go to the airship, we'll probably try and blow it up, then Barthas will be there and we'll fight him, and then we'll blow them both up. But that wasn't what happened.
That wasn't indeed what happened. But it could have been what happened. But basically, because I had the opportunity with the Cambion that escaped, I felt like it would be cool if that thing sort of went and alerted Barthas, which was kind of the plan all along. Because, as I said, the Pope wasn't actually a demon.
Yep.
And yeah, there were actually multiple fake outs, because the Pope wasn't a demon, although originally he was planned to be. Originally, there were actually 4 demons instead of 3.
That's what we thought, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed. And then there was some misinformation there from the old professor. So yeah, that was sort of my thing of adding like some information that wasn't true, and like making the information aspect a bit more interesting. But yeah, sort of. So he could have been a demon. I think I actually have art of his demon form, or what he would have looked like. Yeah. But it is like more legacy than the newer demon arts. Here I have him actually. He was sort of supposed to be like this more like scorpion, like centipede thing.
Cool.
Which would have been neat, because basically what that would have done is, because he's like a more insect type thing, he could have like crawled across the pillars and stuff of the church, and in the meantime use like his sort of acid tongue whip to sort of attack from the rafters. So that would have been cool, but it ended up not making it in, for whatever reason. I don't always remember exactly why I decided for or against another thing.
Yeah, I hear that a lot on my creative writing course, when you had to write reasons why you'd done certain things or changed your mind, and like I just made crap up most of the time. I don't know, it just felt right.
Yeah, I think it was mainly also a cut for time thing. If I don't exactly remember why it is, if I don't remember a specific reason, then it was probably a cut for time. Because I didn't actually intend this module to be very long. And I think that I did reasonably well in sort of keeping it like not too short that it felt rushed, but still not super lengthy in like a Return to Arbello scale. Because I felt like the format of this also wouldn't lend itself too well to like a really long campaign. Whereas Return to Arbello being like a how do you say?
It's like a road trip. Journey.
Yeah, like a big road trip, like a big sort of Lord of the Rings journey to Mount Doom kind of thing. I felt like that was more appropriate for that to be like a really long module. And I felt like, especially because a big part of this one was sort of investigative, if that took too long, then it might have gotten boring and stuff like that, if you didn't get anywhere fast enough. So that was sort of that. So yeah, that was the Pope. Originally, what was also an idea that could have been a thing was that there were 4 demons, but one of the demons was actually in the airship, as in was the engine of the airship.
Oh, right.
Yeah. and it would have been like a big thing where you
Big
would have gone onto the airship. First of all, you would have had to fight like the people on the airship, but then you would also have to fight the airship.
Airship. Oh
Yeah,
no, that
indeed.
was sucked.
So that could have been a thing, but it wasn't.
That's cool, man. That's quite a Howl's Moving Castle influence. Is that right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
At least in the anime,
Mhm.
looks better. Just saying.
But yeah, so that could have been a thing. Let's see what else I have here. Oh yeah, there was actually another, like, originally there were more than one important, like, city guard officers. I have
Are there any important city guard officers?
well, Barthas was, because
Oh,
he was
yeah.
the general, right? So originally I actually had 3 different sort of important officers. One of them was then Barthas, and then it might have also have been a thing of like figuring out which one of the 3 it was. But cut for time. And those are these 3, which is here, of course, Barthas himself, his beardy self.
A sec. Give us a sec.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, there they are.
Yeah.
This is definitely the scariest looking.
Yeah. So that's him. Then we also had this guy, who had sort of this weird beard going on, and a very sort of Spanish frill look.
Yeah, very Spanish.
And then we also had this one, who has like a big sort of hand-shaped scar. And I think the reason for that was that originally the thing of magic being outlawed and stuff like that was gonna like be more important to the plot, I think, from what I remember at least, and also be more legitimate than just an excuse to like round up sorcerers for sorcerer blood. But then the thing with this officer was that like I think it was gonna be like her father or a friend of hers or something who was actually a sorcerer, either accidentally or on purpose, like giving her a big burn, and then that being important to a character somehow. But I don't actually remember that much of it because it was like the really early versions of this module's development. So that
Third
could have
version 0.21.
yeah, indeed. So that could have been important. Oddly enough, there's actually like a bigger art of this officer, because the big thing was that as she has the hand scar, she would also have like really buff touch spells. So it would have been a thing of where normally you have casters that are like artillery support basically for like melee fighters, but that would have sort of swapped it in that the whole point would have been to not get into melee combat with her because she would only have touch spells, but they would be really strong.
The TV trait for that is Kung Fu Wizard.
Ah, yes, indeed. Exactly that then. Apparently, at least in the early versions, she was important enough to warrant like a bigger art of her. But I think that was mainly me trying to sort of try out like some cool effects.
The lighting's really cool.
Yeah, I think the composition and stuff is really still quite good in this, but it's mainly the effects that are sort of outdated at this point. So yeah, that's some more city guard stuff. Let's see what else I have. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah. What is also perhaps interesting is that you have the Viscount or the Viscount. Oh no, the Viceroy. It's not the Viscount. It's the Viceroy. Because a Viceroy is a stand-in for a king, or in this case, a queen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Indeed. And normally it would have been like a lead up that he would have been like the main demon or the biggest demon, or one of the demons at least, but that was again a red herring because
wasn't even a person.
He wasn't even a person. He was a wax idol. And the whole thing would have been that Coroboli's human form was actually the Viscount's daughter. So if you guys had gone to him first, then that would also have been like a switcheroo of expecting him to be the demon, but instead his daughter being the demon. And so that was also that. And that's also why she took the form of like a teenage girl when at the dance party, because that was her go-to human form, because it was the Viceroy's daughter. Let's see. I think then that's about all of it. Of like stuff. Oh, yeah. There was one more. Here we are. There was one more sewer character, actually. More sewer content. Yay. That could have been important, but also ended up not being. It's sort of this fungus druid here, who. I don't know what exactly his thing was. I guess spores and like fungus stuff. Mold. I don't know. I just thought it would be cool to have a druid who isn't like animals or plants, but is instead fungi. And that's also sort of why I came up with him, but he ended up not making it in.
Simply say you could avoid all of the horrible fun guy jokes that everyone would have made.
Perhaps. But to be fair, I am a biologist, so I could return with a volley of more obscure fungus puns of my own.
Are puns any good if people don't actually get them and then groan at them?
I think so. Because then you sort of have the inner satisfaction of having fed people puns without them knowing. Yeah, so that's that. I think that's actually most of the like big behind the scenes stuff covered. What might also be fun to show is the legacy art of Saint Satoria.
Yeah, I remember you saying there was some.
Yeah, there is actually a legacy art of her, which is a lot older and therefore a lot less detailed. Where I also was going for like a more sort of biomechanical stuff, like more like demon alchemy biomechanical stuff for the underground and the stuff under the city, instead of like a more Dark Souls-y sort of gothic thing. But yeah, this is the older art of her.
I definitely like the new one more. The new one feels more like royal, I guess.
Yeah.
Got more of a queenly feel to it, whereas this one, it's got the cool crown thing still, but it's not quite as it's not as showy.
Yeah,
which
it's
you
definitely not
expect
as showy.
from monarchs.
Indeed, and that's also definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to make a new one, because this one was not impressive enough at the very least to keep up with the arts of the demons, and I felt like it was necessary to have an art that would outshine all of the others for Saint Satoria, the final boss, or final encounter, at least. Because you didn't actually fight her, which you could have done, but you didn't.
I'm proud of myself.
That was very nice. But yeah, if you had fought her,
Who got wrecked?
It was possible. It was possible, but it would have been very, very hard. And it was also the plan that if you did fight her, it would have been with all of your companions.
With like, Monbeck and
with Monbeck and with Tim
Payne.
and with Payne and with Pate's party and stuff. That was basically one of the reasons that I set you guys up to have so many allies. That in the case of you guys fighting Saint Satoria, it would have been a somewhat balanced fight.
Okay. What was her CR, or do you probably don't want
She's
that,
custom. I don't know what the CR is, but she had some nasty shit. One of the things that she could do, that's also one of the things. That's also why the arrow was there. Actually, it wouldn't have killed her. But it wouldn't have, but it would have weakened her to a state where the encounter would have been balanced for just you four against her.
Ah, I see.
Wouldn't have killed her, but it would have made her very angry.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
One of the things that she would have been able to do is split herself among the initiative order.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Legendary. That's not like legendary actions that
indeed.
they've got in 5th edition.
It's something like that, yeah. There was also an ability that I originally planned, but I ended up not working out because I didn't get it balanced in time. Was that she could, as I said, split herself among the initiative order, but observe, or at least, observe or know reality in one turn at the back of the initiative order and act on a turn at the beginning of the initiative order.
Right, okay.
Which basically means that she has prescience of the turn after her. But
that was scary.
That would have been scary, and mainly at some earlier stuff, I was sort of testing out how much AoE abilities you guys actually have, which turns out to be not that many.
Yeah, not without Polly anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, basically, that was also one of the reasons that I didn't keep that, because that kind of ability is normally sort of hard countered by AoE stuff, where you make it so that no matter what she knows, no movement or stuff that she can actually do can take her out of taking damage. And that would have added to like the strategy of that fight, but it ended up not making it into a final moveset, and it actually never even became relevant because
we made friends.
Didn't fight her, and you made friends. So yeah, that's Saint Storia for you. Let's see. What else do I have to show you? Oh yeah, maybe this is interesting. I also had a big... When I still thought that, when I still thought that I had more time to spend on this than I actually had, I also made some art of, like, a whole bunch of magic items to be found in the module. But after a while it dawned on me that that was sort of spending more time on it than I actually had. That make all of that art didn't actually have the returns of improvement of, I think, the experience that I was looking for something to spend that much time on.
And not as much as the character art, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I sort of ended up dropping that. But, might use them for something else. Something that might be interesting about that is that I made them in sets. So, like, across the city, you would have, like, sets of 3 items that, if you combine them, had, like, an extra effect and stuff. Sort of a more, like, gamey, RPG-ish element. So that could have been a thing, but it wasn't really. Let's see, what else do I have? I think that's about it, honestly, for behind-the-scenes stuff. I guess we could take a look at some of the... we could take a look at some of the maps, actually, that did end up getting used.
Actually, Mon, there was something I wanted to bring up at this point, if it's okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for, this is a behind-the-scenes thing as well, that I've mentioned there was some stuff, some hangover stuff from Return to Arbello, particularly Sigmund's items, because what I was trying to do at the end of Return to Arbello was make sure everyone was at the same kind of, like, gold per level ratio. Yeah. And for Sigmund, that was a bit trickier, so I'd come up with this idea that he would get some cool mithril armor And I'd spoken to you before the session, before the modules, saying this isn't something I can really bring into Return to Orbello, but I spoke to you beforehand saying, hey, it would be very cool if Sigmund got this set of cool mithril armor. And I felt that you were able to work that into it very well, so I just wanted to say thank you for that.
All right, no
Cool.
problem. Thank you. Yeah, I think that the mithril armor, the reason for it being there is that it sort of, as you said, it was originally meant for Barthas, but of course you stole it, so it didn't go to him.
It was in Nicholas's office, though, wasn't it?
Sorry?
It was in Nicholas's office,
it was
wasn't
in
it?
Nicholas's office because
Office hadn't
the
picked it
whole
up
thing that was that he was sort of doing like, because it was attached to all kinds of wires and stuff, right? Basically, what he was trying to do is force the armor to bond to like a demonic entity, which at least that's how it went in my head, was like not straightforward, because I don't know, for some reason maybe mithril armor doesn't like demons. No idea if that's true, no idea if there's any weight to that, no idea if mithril has like any canonical good alignment element to it, but at least that's sort of why I had it in Miglas's office, as he was like preparing the armor to be worn by Barthas.
Because I hadn't spoken to you at all about like it has a reaction to Sigmund's rage thing at all. That was all you.
Oh yeah.
And because I'd mentioned, it needs to be, it's a mithril set of armor, it's got this enchantment on it, whatever. But the idea that it was reacting to Sigmund's rage was new to me, and I felt that was very cool. I thought that was an interesting use of like a magic item property, like the idea that you've kind of added to the kind of backstory of what mithril means in this universe.
Yeah.
In that sense, I thought was very cool.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, I felt like, because mithril is such a rare and like such a cool metal, I felt like having an entire suit of armor of it should be at least somewhat more special than just having like a breastplate or any
Or
other
a shitty
like,
piece
smaller
of chema
item.
you stole for your arch enemy.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
it's not shitty. Like
Yeah, like it's still
Dave
mithril.
Dave does have this shirt, and maybe that's something that
Yeah,
can come
and
in.
Dave does have like massive fucking AC.
I do have massive fucking AC. But Mom said that it's not enough mithril for it to
Yeah.
have like empathy. It needs to be a large quantity for it to like gain any kind of sentience. So
Yeah, that was
It's just a
basically
bunch
my
of metal,
excuse
man.
for it at that point. We could
Maybe I can
like,
make
work
friends with
something out that if
the world
you...
tour.
Yeah, we can see for something in World Tour. There's probably, even with Sigmund having like initially bonded to his mithril armor, there's probably like more exploration that we can do with that if needed. Because it probably still...
Jack sweating in chat.
Yeah,
I assume he's just giving up
ver-
on talking.
that's very interesting as well, because like it's reacting with Sigmund's rage, which is his barbarian class, and it's pretty likely, I think, with Sigmund's overall arc, it was always on the table that he took this class in Drunken Brute as a result of Return to Arbello and the experience he got there. But it was always, because you can retrain levels in Pathfinder. That's a thing that you can do.
Yeah.
It was always on the table that if Sigmund's arc went a certain way, then he was going to retrain that barbarian level to another fighter level. And I think, given the way that the campaign ended and Sigmund's arc went, I think he's hit those story beats. So he might be training away from Drunken Brute into full fighter, and that's something I intend to reflect in the character. So it'll be interesting to see how the suit of full mithril interacts with that specific thing, because he won't be raging anymore.
Yeah, what could be cool, actually, no idea if that's something that maybe you want to do, maybe you don't want to do, is for Sigmund, now that he is attuned to the ethereal plane, now that he has some experience, like, moving in and out and through that, having, like, sort of a maybe meditation to sort of try and contact his mithril armor, or at least the sentience that it has, and that sort of guiding him towards, instead of like using his rage, to a sort of more meditated fighter thing.
Yeah, I might need to. Well, that seems. Well, I've been looking at feats, and I've been looking. There's some ways to optimize Sigmund moving forward with feats. Let me tell you.
Probably, yeah.
Of course there is.
And I mean,
But maybe,
he's a fighter, right? So if you gotta get it from anywhere, it's from feats, right?
But like maybe because fighters, because as you know, regular characters get feats on every odd level. Fighters get a bonus combat feat every even level. So Sigmund gets a lot of feats.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have a look at spending one of those feats as something that's maybe mithril orientated. Because one of the things I was going to suggest for Dave was this thing. I know you're talking about feats. I know you've worked it out now.
Yeah.
But there was a thing you can get that makes it's like apprentice gunslinger, where you get like the grit feature. But you don't get. I don't think that gives you exotic weapon firearm.
Yeah, probably not.
So, because if it did, I was going to suggest that because that would be really cool.
I don't think any of the. I still haven't actually picked that yet, but one of the. Because you know that every now and then I get a. I can't remember what it's called now. Well versed. I get a new performance basically. I started with strings and then I got sing.
What could you get?
So starting to aim.
Could you use perform string to shoot a bow?
Basically, there is an option where instead of picking an extra perform skill, you can pick. It's called martial performance. You pick.
Wow, really? That's
based
quite
on
funny.
the performance skills that you already have, you can take proficiencies. So I could become proficient in a bow because of the fact that I've got perform string, but light bows that are available to me that are still simple.
That's fair.
They for light characters do like a D4 of damage, and I'm like, it's not great, man. So I've not picked that in the end, so I don't actually know what I'm going to do. I might just make it. Cause one of the other options is I can add, because because I've got sing, I can use my sing roll in place of like diplomacy and sense motive.
Shit, that's actually a really good call from Jack Axios. Take a look at that.
Yeah, I'm having a look at it now. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I might be able to get that.
I mean, it looks like. Let's see. It's got +5 knowledge, nobility. Do you have knowledge, nobility?
No.
Right.
But the thing is, perception. I'm upping so many levels. I can spend my skill points on those, but it becomes tricksy.
Yeah.
It does become a little bit tricksy.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
I'm also kind of towards like pure fighter for Sigmund as well.
Yeah.
Not just because there is a build I've had in mind for him, like mechanically wise, and I'm totally up for potentially switching that up for something else interesting narratively, like what Jack's put forward. But I think there is also an interesting narrative in Sigmund. Like throughout his entire past, he's not really had focus, and if kind of like his character growth is that he's actually leading into his natural skill as a fighter, he's actually concentrating on what he's doing rather than dicking about all the time. He becomes this actually mechanically powerful build. Is something that I think is interesting to me as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I've kind of done a similar thing with Apollyon, actually, now that he has been retrained by Uncle Azazel, and now that he's also sort of on the warpath to take on his family, possibly in some event during World Tour. I think it also made sense for him to be like more mechanically apt. Because
we are playing Pathfinder, right? And
yeah.
Pathfinder does have some baked-in assumptions about what narrative
indeed.
power means in this system. This is the system that we're playing. Like I feel there are possibly other ways to do it that are better. But we're playing Pathfinder, so here we go.
Yeah. Actually, a funny thing about the mithril armor, possibly, is that originally its sort of morphic qualities that now sort of became your rage was actually going to be something different and something a bit more powerful, where if you properly attune to it, what it could do is you could spend like a move action to become immune to a certain combat maneuver for like the next turn.
Oh, that would have been so handy against Barthas.
It would have been.
That would have been the best thing against Barthas.
Because what it would have then done is I like the
Yeet
look
feature enabled.
what I would have then liked is that because it's sort of like it's a metal, but it's also like has like a crystalline sort of sheen because it's like mithril and it's sort of shiny and white. What the idea would have been is that, for instance, if you guarded against trip, then it would have like the sort of leg bits and the shoes would have extended out to sort of root you into the ground.
He would have anchored Sigmund.
Yeah,
like,
indeed.
some
Or
kind of,
if
like,
you
fortress.
guarded, or if you would have guarded against disarm, then like the gauntlet would have like grown over your weapon as well, to sort of solidify it in your grasp and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe we could workshop a feat for that to unlock it, but who knows?
Who knows?
We'll see about that. Let's see. Yeah, I think as a last part of this behind the scenes, let's look at the maps that were actually used. So that's let's actually start with Miglas's one here, where you guys fought him at the riverside. Also, again, shout out to 2 Minute Tabletop for making great fucking maps that I use all the fucking time, and to whose Patreon I am subscribed.
Excellent. Yeah, I was planning on using quite a bit of 2 Minute Tabletop if I'd gone ahead with
2 Minute Tabletop is fucking great, and it's also really handy that he uploads like the assets and stuff as well, so that you can like cobble together your own fucking map. Because
I did that for that B team that I did.
Yeah, indeed.
I made my own watery map.
Yeah, and this well, actually, all the sort of fancy maps are 2 Minute Tabletop cobbled togethers that I made with like a handful of assets on my own and some lighting that I did.
Yeah, I got that with like the cathedrals and stuff. That was clearly
indeed.
2 Minute Tabletop, but with your statues of Sensatoria.
Yeah, indeed. So here's the map of Miglas, where you would have fought him like at the riverside.
He didn't die. We learned.
Indeed, he didn't die.
Right,
He's somewhere in the fucking astral plane.
Sip martinis.
Yeah, that was actually something that I did plan beforehand, because I actually really do not like save or die stuff. So it was never actually a save or die. It wasn't even a save or die. It was a save or get yeeted into the astral plane and spend a minute.
It was a save or
go on a side quest.
Side quest to rescue Sigmund.
Yeah, save or side quest.
Another plane.
That was exactly what it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. It was stressful at the time, though.
Yeah, of course. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. But of course, as a DM, that's what I love to do, right? Give you like a big scare, but then of course the actual reality of it is as such that it doesn't actually ruin the fucking game, which is what save or dice do. But yeah, of course, I was still very much intent on like giving you the scare of that moment.
It was scary. I was scared. It worked.
So yeah, and then there's the transformation effects, which were actually kind of tricky to handle in Roll20, because what they actually are is an asset with a lot of transparency that is as big as the map itself, because it comes with lighting on like the walls and stuff, and it's basically an a map-wide asset of the lighting on all the buildings and stuff coming from the transformation explosion. But the annoying part of that was that it's as big as the map, I had to put it on the map layer as well, because otherwise it would have gotten really annoying with tokens and stuff. So yeah, there was some because I was trying like a lot of mechanical stuff in a Roll20 sense, like using cool, basically me being a bit of an SFX department for this module. There was some janky stuff going on with tokens here and there, just from me trying to get the effects right and trying to get a cool like cinematic experience inside of Roll20, which also resulted to some more bizarre things like the long horse. But I mean, it was a source of good entertainment. So
of course, definitely.
yes, long horse. So I think that was a job well done in a sense.
Horses are like a running gag in PATHCO at this point.
Yeah, indeed. There's a lot
Weird
of
horses.
like weird horses.
Horse
so there's-
adjacent things.
Yeah, horse adjacent things. So there's that.
My
This
mum
is
pointed out when I was talking about it at dinner that there aren't any multi-horse-headed creatures. There's like, there's Hydra and there's Kerberos, but there aren't any like multi-horses.
God, that would be scary, right? I think that's
It's the patron saint god of the couriers.
Jeez, yeah. Who knows? I feel like if we do have some weird horse demon or god in Pathfinder canon, it should have multiple like horse heads. So yeah, here's the cathedral map with Barthas's weird fucking big like phase 2
Thing.
transformation.
Yeah.
Which was actually really
Which I kept a piece for Polly.
Yes, you did. And I think I have his transformation here as well. Yep. So there's that. The big spiky form was actually fun to make because it's sort of a cheat between like an actual representative top-down token of the creature and my sort of more portraity square tokens. Because as you
I
can
liked
see,
that. I thought it was cool.
yeah, it actually like cracks the square token and then makes the form come out. Basically, one of my reasons for the square tokens was that I really didn't have time to draw all the top-down ones.
I mean, it makes sense. You don't need any more than that.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, that's that. And then let's see what other maps. Oh yeah, of course the hag maps. Art, original. So yeah, because the ethereal plane stuff was something that I hadn't really planned, like that night hag stuff was all sort of improv that came up along the way. But I think that worked out well in the story, and also was sort of like a fresh moment between all of the stuff that was just set in Blackwater. What's actually also really funny is that because there aren't any maps of like surface Blackwater, you can't actually tell from any of the maps that this takes place in like a wintry, sort of slightly snowing situation, which is really funny. Because the only image that I've really drawn that in is in the title card. That's actually the only thing where you can actually see the weather that our beautiful future is supposed to take place in. But yeah, I suppose I should have like done some snow on the big map, but I think that was made before we decided that that it was going to be in winter, and I never went back to correct it.
It's fine, man.
Yeah.
It didn't like break my immersion or anything.
Yeah, indeed. I think that was fine. Okay. Tabletop, I think. Maps. Yeah, PATHCO. I have to look for the yes, here they are. So here's the swamp of the hag. If I needed to stall for more time there, I could have also added like some zombies in or stuff like that you would have had to fight first. And then we have the lair. I think that this one, the interior of the hag's lair, is actually the map of this module that I personally like the best.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not super showy like the cathedral and stuff, but I think atmospherically it's very nice. So I think that the hag stuff is actually sort of my favorite two little maps that I've made here. despite obviously the cathedral and stuff being way bigger. Okay, I did not want to open anything in Adobe Bridge, thank you. And then of course Saint Sartoria's big old sanctum, which I spent some time actually trying to figure out like a layout of this, because it was kind of tricky to have something that wasn't just like a big open space, because for the fight that you could have had, like, Sartoria's huge, and, well, she's actually bigger than huge, mechanically speaking, but in a general sense, she's huge, and I needed a map that would have allowed her to move around quite a bit, without denying you guys the opportunity for, like, cover and stuff behind pillars and things like that. So it took me a while to sort of figure something out that worked for that, and that didn't just look like a map that was way too empty.
We just cover behind Sigmund, it's easy.
Yeah, that's true. I also think that I made this map like the night before or something.
Were you having problems with importing some maps into Pathfinder? And I assume it was this one because it's just so big.
Yeah, that was this one. It's not the biggest map, actually. The biggest map is the sewers, I think.
I guess it doesn't feel that big because we only ever saw little bits of it at once.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Whereas this is like a big open, well, Dark Souls boss arena, basically. But yeah, I think that's actually sort of all that I have in terms of real behind-the-scenes stuff that I wanted to go over. So I hope that was interesting. And you got a bit of a look at what my thought processes were behind all of this.
As far as you knew them yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Something else then that I've actually mentioned is a little behind the scenes thing. No, not behind the scenes, getting them messed up. A little post-credits scene that might be fun to sort of allude to what's going on with Apollyon. And
Jimmy just comes back, he's like, what the fuck is everyone?
yeah, I think that at a point where Apollyon has probably returned to the monastery already, and has sort of settled in and is waiting for everyone to get back.
Did we leave him a note? Did we leave a note saying, gone on quest with Montbec?
Probably.
BRB.
Probably something really vague like that.
Yeah.
Definitely a BRB. And I think that as Apollyon is sort of chilling at home, in front of the monastery, sort of at like a twilight or a early in the night, 3 people show up, and the foremost one of them, Aggie, your microphone is muted, by the way. I hope that's intentional.
One of them a bunch of scorpions in a trench coat.
One of them a bunch of scorpions in a trench coat.
No, it was also, yeah, my mic was muted on purpose.
Oh,
no,
okay.
it was in a big body hood because the Unburnt Swarm came up in that one BT.
Yes,
Team,
indeed.
yeah.
The Unburnt Swarm. So one of them is a big bunch of scorpions in like wraps and a hood. One of them is carrying a sword that's way too big, and is sort of sitting at a bonfire, and as the night falls, sort of gets up from it, pockets his golden flask, which holds his potions of minor healing, or of cure life wounds, and looks up and says, "Looks like we finally found the place, everybody. it's going to be a long night. And I have here a little art. Where's my stuff?
So 3 people. I remember there being 2.
Yes, but they
people.
have recruited someone extra.
Right, it's Polly. Long list. Is it his ex? I remember you talking about her.
It's not his ex.
Not his ex.
It's actually not someone that... I need to find this picture. PATHCO, here we are. It's actually not someone who is directly relevant to Apollyon, but I figured that it would be funny to add to this little Dark Souls troupe an Argent voice bard whose role is basically to sing like the typical choir, like the typical choir Dark Souls music as like an Inspire Courage bard skill.
She's just there. She doesn't even know Apollyon.
Yeah. Maybe she's like just someone Jeremy Horse met or something like that. Jeremy Horse Jr., that is.
Jeremy Horse Jr.
Yes. Let me actually put this in the chat here as well.
Oh, because when I was joking about the unburnt sword, I didn't realise that was an actual thing. I was just a bit, and it's very funny to me that it is actually this team. This is great.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely
No,
this
I
fucking
knew he
team.
was being serious.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's because you're smarter than me, Egg.
That's because I know Mom quite well as well.
Yeah, of course I'm gonna bring that back. Did you really think that I'd pass up on the opportunity to do a Dark Souls reference with Jeremy Horse Jr.?
Jeremy Horse Jr., who is a Hell Knight.
Yes, who is a Hell Knight.
I don't think that'd be themed, but yeah, these people came up.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
So yeah, I think that is sort of the setup that I'm going to give for however we start World Tour or whatever session that we do that I won't run with the gang coming back to the monastery. I think that because Apollyon now has Animate Dead, this really is like the monastery is like a real Dark Souls level for these guys. Because Apollyon's skeletons are just going to be walking around. And he will also likely be behind a wall of mist, if you know what I mean. Mugwort. So yeah, that's that. I really just wanted to make an art of these goobers.
Fair enough.
And I thought it would be nice to have that as a tie-in for finding Polly back at the monastery. But yeah, that's basically me talking for an hour and a half, and yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Is there any more stuff from like behind the scenes that you guys wanted to go over? Oh yeah, the wondrous item stuff. Right.
Yes, the spear.
Mm-hmm.
And general rewards and such.
Yes, indeed. So I think that in terms of general rewards, what would happen is that as everyone is back at the monastery, so I'm doing some time jumbling here, but just doing it when it's appropriate. Montbec would return, like, with a big suitcase, wearing a Hawaii shirt, as he is going on holiday, and he would bring like a big coffer from the Talon, and he will give you all your rewards, which is let me go and look at the actual reward thing. Oh yeah, the actual reward is 3,500 each.
Oh, nice.
That's a good amount of money.
Yeah, well, I mean, my magic items and stuff are expensive.
Yeah.
So I feel like that
Well,
is...
the fuck's my money? It's down there, isn't it? Nope.
Yeah,
Up.
I've completely lost where it is on the edge sheet.
Above the notes.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh yeah, maybe I
basically-
can actually afford a magic item now.
Yeah, indeed. I feel like Pathfinder's pricing is a bit weird on that, but oh well. Pathfinder criticisms aside, I've already spent too many years of my life nabbing on Pathfinder.
Just realised that I never actually posted the stream is live link. Oops, probably a
Oh
bit
well.
late now.
That
We spent a lot of our lives.
so quiet. What was the
We have
number
spent a lot
again?
of-
Just so I can put it onto my sheet.
3,500 each.
Gold pieces.
Big monies.
Yay, more arrows.
Yeah.
But
Or you could get like a magic bow and stuff. Like surely there's magic
More
items
magic bows.
that you have use for Clanvar.
it's really hard to find magic items, though. Have you seen?
Well, I mean, in terms of magic items, you can always ask me or anyone with the DM role to sort of say, I'd like an item for this, or I'd like an item that does give or take this or this. Can we work something out? Is there anything that might suit my needs or desires? And then
So
we can work
Glanvar has
something out.
3 magic items currently.
Oh, right.
The Monk's Robe, Acrobat Slippers, and a Belt of Incredible Dexterity.
Ah, right. Yeah. That does sound like solid items.
Quite a lot.
I think Polly has quite a few, actually, I think. Especially when I get the items that I've been meaning to get for him now that he's leveled up. One of them being a headband of charisma to boost that. But I'll get into that later. For now, we've got the spear, which the plan was to trade it for various other magical items, I believe.
Yes, Sigmund's on the lookout for magic items, belts. Sigmund's on the lookout to upgrade his trouser holding ability.
Indeed.
He currently has a belt of giant strength, and what he's looking for now that he's got the mithril suit of armor, he's realized that it's not just about pure strength; it's also about, because the thing with mithril armor, it allows you a higher maximum dexterity. He's like, oh, maybe I should lean into that side of things. And what he's looking to do is he would like a wondrous item known
Physical
as
might, right?
Belt of Physical Might. Yes. So he'd like one of those. He's perfectly willing to trade in his current belt for this as well. So so that's in on the thing. So
Okay.
if
So what's the
I think
value of the current belt?
the value of the current belt, are we using shop price, or are we using
For the value
item
of the
creation
current,
price?
for the current belt, I'm needing shop price. Yeah,
For the current belt,
that you
the
have
shop
right now.
price
Yeah.
is 4,000 gold pieces.
4,000. All right. And then.
But it's used, so you modify by 75% or whatever. Yes, but yeah.
Really?
Well, I don't know. It depends what maths you're using. If how you're taking into account are
Right.
used. But I guess we're buying used items as well. So
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I
Yeah.
feel it's sort of weird to add.
Looking out on your old fancy gum tree.
Yeah,
yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
And also, Thyra can make magical items and stuff. Yeah. See you around, Jack. Hope you are
Bye,
gonna
hope you feel
a
better.
bit better soon. But yeah, because Thyra can has the feat to craft wondrous items, I will always allow you to make use of that. Even if it is not specifically Thyra that makes it, I feel like because you have the feat and could do it like that, it would be silly to charge you the full price. But yeah, so if it's 4,000, and then the physical might is 10,000, that's a 6,000 difference. If we divide that by 2, which is what the way that the cost reduction of the crafting works, is that you basically just divide the cost by 2.
Okay.
Then we are left with a 3,000 gold. So basically what this will take is it will take your belt that you have. It will take 3,000 gold in addition, or at least the value of 3,000 gold, whether it's from your actual gold or from the value of the partial value of the spear. That is what it's going to take.
Well, I have the 3,000 gold, but does anyone else want to come in on this spear? Because this is an item that Sigmund wants in terms of this new belt. But, like, it makes sense to use up the spear before you start spending your own gold, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
It
the only
is-
thing.
It is worth a lot as well, so there is some leeway that you could have with this.
And I think narratively, it makes sense for Pate to have this, but we should still get a payout. Like, we're still PATHCO. We are mercenaries.
Yeah, that's true.
He understands. Bait does.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is
he's
a
a
mercenary as
mercenary.
well, of course.
I mean, like the other things that I really want as Dave are like a better crossbow. Somehow there aren't any like ones in the Pathfinder wiki, so some kind of custom. I don't know.
Right.
Or I've talked to Jack. Instead of like getting an item, an upgrade to toast. But we've
Right.
not like hashed anything out yet. So I might do some more thinking and come back to you.
Okay, yeah.
While you
fair.
hash out any more details.
Yeah.
Finally go get my mug cake.
Yeah, alright, that's fair.
It's good to know the behind the scenes though. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
That's good.
Mhm.
Alright.
See you later.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye. I think that we are probably also going to stop the stream at this point. That seems reasonable. So,
Sure.
Ag and Haggis, now that you're still here, say goodbye to the stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye.